I love Vanessa Huxtable, but on this show, no ma'am. Like let's go ahead and close this out.
It
But
wasn't
she
big fun.
it was not big fun. No. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Just Draws podcast. This show delves into hot topics and general subjects of conversation among same gender loving black men. We call this podcast Just Draws because we offer raw, vulnerable, and stripped down perspectives in an effort to give voice to our oftentimes overlooked population. Join us as we share our various experiences, open up about our fears and anxieties, and have some laughs while doing it. Let's get into this week's episode.
All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to the season 2 premiere of Just Draws.
Season two,
I
baby.
Yep, season 2. We've done this enough. We wanted to do another second season or a new season. All right. So tonight we are coming from the set of the movie The Friday Before the Friday After Last.
Ah.
Yes,
And who's producing and directing this version?
probably Tyler Perry. I don't know. We're just
Oh
on the set.
wow. Oh wow. Okay. Oh wow. So
We're
then
just on the
there's
set.
yeah, there's probably some hot guys walking around somewhere then. So we need to be on the lookout.
You know it. If it's a Tyler Perry production, it's definitely going to be some male eye candy for the single moms and company. Single moms.
Yeah,
Okay.
quote, air quote, single moms. There we go. Yeah.
In the old church ladies. Old
Hmm.
church ladies.
There we go.
All right. So tonight we're going to not really have a whole talk. We're going to just do a night of hot topics. So what's been happening since we've been on the break? So I've got a couple of different things that I wanted to talk about tonight. So we're going to start out with something really positive, I think, is that Quinta Brunson of Abbott Elementary, she won an Emmy earlier this week. She won Best Actress in a Comedy Series for her role in Abbott Elementary, and that has not been won by a Black lady since 1981, since Isabel Sanford won it for her role in The Jeffersons. And so, Abbott is one of those shows that I watch. I love it. It's kind of in the style of The Office, that fake mockumentary type of style of show. The comedy is kind of dry, and it's got some of those if you blink you'll miss it type of events that happen in it, and I really enjoy that show. And I very happy to see her get some success, because it reminds me of Issa Rae and how she started on YouTube with Awkward Black Girl. And that's been like 10 years ago. And, now she rolled from that into Insecure and rap shit on HBO. She was a Barbie in the Barbie movie. So I'm really looking forward to what Miss Brunson will be able to do with this power. Hopefully she'll be able to capitalize on that, because I think she's very entertaining with what she's done. So, guys, what do you think about that?
So I'm sure I'm going to be stoned or burned at the stake, but I don't particularly or haven't particularly gotten into Abbott Elementary. I've watched a few episodes with some friends and I've enjoyed the episodes that I've seen. So I feel that at some point I'm going to go back and I'm going to catch up on all of the episodes that everybody is talking about, everybody is laughing about. It kind of felt like Scandal to me, where everybody was watching Scandal initially when it came out. And I was like, I'm not watching this. I don't want to watch this. And then by the time I thought about watching it, it was so far into the seasons that I went, wow, okay, let me see if I can go back and watch that. I never caught up on that, but I definitely caught up on some other shows that came out of Shondaland. But I'm absolutely ecstatic to see that we had a Black actress that won this Emmy. And I think anytime we have Black actors or actresses, musicians, media personalities, and even content creators, like anytime we can big up our own, like we really should. And even in all of the positivity of it, you can't help but think about how it sucks that we haven't seen anybody win since 81,
Yeah,
with Isabel Sanford. And so what does that say though about like the Felicia Rashads and the Joe Marie Paytons and the Janet Huberts and the Jasmine Guys, the Kim Fields,
And the
Erica
Tisha
Alexander's, like
Campbells,
all
Tashina
of those.
Arnolds.
yeah.
Who? Yeah, Tashina Arnold's, yeah, the Tisha Campbells, yeah, all of those, like all of these groundbreaking sitcoms that have been very influential and been staples within the culture. Like, it's unfortunate that we can't appreciate that sort of comedy. We can't appreciate that culture as a whole society. We don't really appreciate that. And so it sucks in all of that, but
Yeah.
it's absolutely great that maybe we're beginning to get a little bit more recognition.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's a thing, that there's going to be more representation and that there's going to be more recognition for us.
Yeah, and real quick, you mentioned Jasmine Guy. She actually did win an Emmy the other day too. Outstanding actress in a short form comedy series, and that's for her role on the show The Chronicles of Jessica Wu. And so she was actually here locally in Atlanta. She did an interview on the Fox station here. She said that she shot her scenes in one day.
Wow.
One
So that
day.
was this year. She won an Emmy
That
this
was,
year.
yeah, that was this year. She
So
just
saying,
got it.
okay.
She just
Okay.
got it. So imagine, being able to be at that level and shoot your scenes in one day and get an award for that. That's awesome. I just kind of hate that, it's taken so long. I mean, I
Yeah, it
know,
took her seasons, where she
yeah.
was shooting every day and didn't get anything, but then she comes in now and shoots scenes in one day and gets it.
Right.
Proud, either way, but
Yeah.
Cheryl Lee Ralph won
yeah,
last year for the first
exactly.
time
Last
ever
year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
after all that she's been in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even I was mentioning too that Niecy Nash won
Mm-hmm.
for Dahmer this year. So I was absolutely, and
Very
I've
much
been a
so.
fan. Yeah, I have been a fan of Niecy Nash since she was on Reno 911, and since she was on Clean House. Clean House was the show. I mean, to this day, if Clean House comes on TV and there's a marathon or there's a channel, I want them to create a Clean House channel, like so that I can just keep it on that channel all the time. And I only want the episodes with Niecy Nash on it. When they did the guest hosts, I could do without those. And then later Tempest Bledsoe like took it over, and I was like, okay, now I love Vanessa Huxtable, but on this show, no ma'am. Like let's go ahead and close this out.
It
But
wasn't big fun.
it was not big fun. No. In Baltimore. Yeah, no, it was not. So yeah, but I'm
It was
definitely
wretched.
yeah, with the wretched, it was, the show was wretched. It absolutely was, because I kind of stopped watching it after that. I was trying to be a fan, but nah, it was not working out for me. But so and Niecy is somebody that I've always followed. I love her spirit. I love her energy. I want to be friends with her. Like I want her to just come into town and call me and be like, hey, what are you doing? Let's go grab food, like that kind of thing. I don't necessarily want to ride off her coattails and be, a celebrity or anything like that. I just want to hang out with her and laugh and have a good time, because she is a good time type of gal. So
I'm sure
I
she
want to do that.
is. Yeah, and one more thing, I know we can't get to everyone that was recognized, but I also want to mention as well that T.S. Madison also won an Emmy for being a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, and that is not really my show, but I know Darius, that's one of your faves.
That's my gay guilty pleasure. That's one of the only like gay shows that I watch. I don't watch The Housewives. I don't watch a lot of this
Why
other
Housewives
stuff.
gotta be
Well,
Right,
because
the
it
Housewives'
is.
main
Yeah.
audience is women.
Well, because it is, and gay men, and so yeah, so I don't watch a lot of that. I don't watch the Love and Hunts, whatever, Love and
Love
Marriage.
and Marriage Huntsville.
I know of the characters. I don't watch the what is it, Love and Hip Hop. I don't watch the Basketball Wives and the Medicine Wives. I don't really watch a lot of that stuff. But RuPaul is my gay guilty pleasure. I'm there on Fridays, posted up, watching the episode, watching the reviews, the reactions after the episode. So yeah, I'm all in on that. So it was good to see her win that too,
Yeah.
because I've seen her. I've actually met her too
Okay.
at some events in Atlanta. So the way she is on screen is the way she is in person. So
All right. Cool. So let's move on to P. Diddy and Cassie. So last November, 2023, singer and ex-girlfriend of Sean Puff Daddy Combs sued him in court over some allegations that Sean had subjected her to rape and some sexual assault and abuse. And the very next day, ink wasn't even dry on the press, and it was settled out of court. So what happened in this case was Cassie brought this up because of the Adult Survivors Act, which was a law that allowed people to sue or give victims of sexual abuse the ability to bring cases in the state of New York without any statutes of limitations after they had expired. Now that deadline has now passed, so you were not able to do that anymore. But during that window, she was able to bring that case to court. In this situation, you know, having settled it gives a lot of people some, what I want to say, the thoughts of some of those details that was in the suit, which included allegations that Sean had forced her to hire male escorts with large black penises, unquote, for what was called freakouts, where he would allegedly watch and film as Cassie had sex with these individuals.
I think it was freak offs, Jeff.
They
Freak
were
offs.
freak offs, not
Yeah.
freak outs. Okay,
Yeah.
freak offs. All right, cool. So yeah, so more details and more salacious allegations were within that suit. But because it was settled, that meant that she was not that Sean rather would not have to answer to any of those charges in the suit. So it's kind of interesting to read some of those allegations, I think, because there's been rumors for a long time about Sean's how shall I say, sexual proclivities. What's everyone's thoughts on that? I know y'all not gonna get quiet over
Well,
this.
no, I mean, I was just moving up to unmute. I'll go ahead and go first. I think the first thing, with the speed and well, the combination of the detail that she had when listing the allegations, combined with the settlement less than 24 damn hours later, that's all I needed to hear. I don't need to hear anything else. That's as far as I'm concerned, Cassie didn't tell not one lie.
Mhm.
Those just it's weight. Like I said, like when someone has that much detail, and especially in the allegation that like is something that is going to be consumed by the public, to be willing to come with that much, like that forthright with that much. Because even before the settlement, I was already like, oh yeah, she has way too many details. Like
Yeah.
this is facts. Like she's just finally bringing it to light. He got what he deserved overall. I'm a little bit biased because I just really have never really liked Diddy.
Mhm.
He's always gotten on my nerves. Just watching him on TV, like he's such
a herb.
Narcissist.
I mean, he's all the things. Like there are so many things so many adjectives we can use to describe him. But it's like just like the thirst for attention. I'm like, you already have a gazillion dollars, like, and you're just like forcing yourself on every single bad boy artist album. You can't rap, but but they gotta pay you for a feature, like on all these songs that you want to be on. You all in the video trying to Diddy bop and stuff. Like he's just always been such a major turnoff.
Mhm.
For me, I'm just like, go sit down somewhere. Like he's just gross. Like he was just always gross to me. So yeah, so I'm a little biased in saying good. I'm just glad that something made his face crack
Yeah.
like that.
Got it.
That's all I got.
Sean, do you have
I
anything
agree.
on this from a legal point of view, or do you feel like you
I, I,
have any?
I do not. The extent of my knowledge is this: he was sued. It was settled. I
And that's
like
the
I don't know details. I'm not a fan of drama and shit.
Okay,
And
so
I
do
can't.
you so do you
I,
know
I
who Sean Puffy Combs is?
yeah,
Okay, all right. We got to
yeah.
check that. We got to do a check. Yeah, we got to make sure you
Do
know
I know
who
who the chick is? No, but
right.
do I know
Yeah.
who he is? Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Good. Good.
Okay.
But again, I don't do like Matt. I can't and I cannot.
Yeah.
No, I
Nope.
just no that drama and ridiculousness. I'm like no, I want nothing to do with this.
All right. Well, I mean, no shade to Cassie, no shade to her at all, but you probably wouldn't know her because she's only had like 2 songs, and those came out like 20 years ago. And I mean, there were little bops for what they were, but I mean, she can, barely carry a tune.
She can
Not
yin
them
yang
vocals.
yang around the
Not
house.
them vocals.
Yeah,
She-
and
yeah,
I
she-
actually have, I think, both of her songs on my iPod. So that goes to show you that the two she had, or one or two that she had, are pretty good. And it's crazy
I would
that
say
some people
both of them. I thought she only
actually,
had one.
yeah. Well, there's
And hold on, let me back up too, because you trying to come for me over shit like this. Because yes, I know Bad Boy Records, I know Sean Combs and stuff like this. Again,
yeah.
let's not take it too extreme. Like now, when you're talking about TXS or whatever in the hell that was on the last time we talked, whoever that group was, although I do know their songs.
Oh, next.
Next.
Yeah, next.
PXX.
There you go.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't know whatever they were. I know
I
their
love
song.
it. I love it though. I love it.
I knew
Yeah.
their song when I listened to it. But
That's the next group.
obscure
That's the
people,
next
I don't
super
know
group.
shit about them.
We got to
But
figure out
yeah.
who that is. Yeah, that's the next super group. Love it though.
Also on some assault, let's move on to our next subject tonight, and that's going to be Mr. Jonathan Majors. So on December 18th, he was found guilty of assaulting and harassing his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. She's a movement coach, and ironically, they met on the set of the Ant-Man movie that Jonathan was in, playing the character Kang. Jonathan was actually positioned to be the next big Marvel villain in the new cycle of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the fallout of that continues. Disney completely dropped him from those Marvel movies. He lost the role of playing Dennis Rodman in an upcoming biopic. There's a movie that he shot earlier that was getting some buzz at Sundance called Magazine Dreams. We probably have seen those early press shots of him, low lit in the bodybuilding, whatever they call it, poser or whatever. That movie was getting some positive buzz actually during the Sundance Festival. Disney Searchlight was going to release that, but they are not. This information just dropped earlier this week. So they basically released it back to the filmmakers, and the filmmakers are going to have to shop it around. So they won't be distributing it. So that's kind of where we are with that. I do think that Jonathan will be able to eventually recover from this. I think that it's just too hot of a issue for them to deal with, or studios for right now. But I think eventually he'll be able to act, maybe not guaranteeing or earning those same type of checks or the Disney Marvel bag like he got before, but I don't think that he's going to be out of the radar. Other actors have recovered from allegations similar or worse than this. Will Smith,
Other white actors. No.
other white actors, but I mean, I don't think
nah.
he's not going to be unmarkable forever. That's just what it is. He's too young, but I don't think that he's ever going to be put in the same position that he was before. But I don't think that he's ruined his career. It's just that he's just not going to be at that level again, and that's really a shame. But I do think that this movie probably will sit on someone's hard drive until it's released to a streaming service, and then people will just be able to watch it, at their leisure. I don't have high hopes that it will get a theatrical release. If it does, it'll be kind of real small, but I don't think they're going to want to spend advertising money on it. I think it'll just pop up on Netflix or Amazon just out of the blue, no fanfare, and people will just kind of watch it and may get some grassroots, watches or views from it out of the curiosity of the scandal. But I don't think this is the end of the career for him, but it's definitely going to be a negative shot for him.
I kind of go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just going to say, see, I think this one's a little bit more interesting than Diddy's, but I didn't follow this one closely, but I think it's interesting from the standpoint, again, he was on the ascent, high profile, then the allegations start coming out, whereas before there was a lot of undercurrent when he was at Yale School of Drama and kind of misbehavior there and things like that all remained quiet until he made it onto the main screen. And then all of the allegations come out, and then all of this background information comes out again. And it will be interesting from the standpoint of, you know, everyone said that he is a great talent, and the reality, well, the question is whether he's going to be able to recover from this. And I don't necessarily know whether he will. I mean, I think it's great that you have confidence in that, Jeff, even if it's not to the level of Marvel. But there are a lot of white actors who recover, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not he, as a possible Black leading man, is able to recover in any meaningful way, or if he decides to make the shift to Broadway and see if that's an avenue he has to pursue.
Yeah, I hope he recovers from this too. I hope he can just kind of bounce back. One of the positive things about it is that I don't feel as if he's been as publicly canceled as a lot of other people have been.
He's not untouchable in the same way, but it's also, this is physical violence as opposed to sexual violence.
Right.
And I think that even though they truly are of the same degree, I mean, it's like violence is violence. Mm-hmm. I think there's a much greater stigma that's attached to sexual predators and people who tend to be sexually violent. Physical violence with respect to men's behavior toward women, that I don't think it has been more stigmatized as it should be, but I don't think it gets stigmatized to the extent that other, similar behavior gets stigmatized.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I hope he bounces back from this. I'm definitely gonna miss seeing him, in the MCU, but the kind of downside to that is that the way that the MCU is set up now, like he can easily be replaced in that because of how they have this multi-tier, multiverse sort of situation going on. So they can easily replace him and write in something else so that we're able to kind of move forward. But I do hope he does bounce back in some way because he is a talent. I think that justice for those victims was served. So it's just a matter of seeing how things are gonna play out. It was a hot button topic for a little while, and it's gonna die out. And I think that's where he's gonna be able to kind of silently make his comeback, is while everybody's focusing on other things. That's what it's gonna be. So as you said, Sean, too, it's not it's assault, but it's not sexual assault. So I think with a lot of people coming out now on the heels of Me Too and really kind of divulging a lot of things that they've kept secret, I think that we're going to have so much stuff that we're going to be focused on that he's going to be able to make his comeback, and we won't even realize it until we look up and go, oh wait, he's back. So
yeah, it kind of reminds me of what happened with Nate Parker, because he was also supposed to be like one of those, oh, this is the next Denzel, and then he got caught up in the rape allegation himself, and then that just basically made him vanish. But I don't feel like, and this is no shade to Nate Parker, Nate to me was never put in the position that Jonathan was in to be on that same trajectory. So that's why I feel like Jonathan would be able to recover from this to a good degree. I don't think that we'll never see him again. even if it's just, hey, he's gonna be on, a Tyler Perry production, something
Of course he
on that
will. Of
level.
course he will.
He's got the body after that bodybuilding show, movie that he filmed. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't think that this isn't the end of his career. It's going to be tainted. There's going to be a little asterisk by it, and that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's part of part of the game. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, because I have not followed this very. I mean, I've seen the headlines and I've seen everybody talking about it, but I haven't followed it closely. For some reason, I'm just not really that interested. And I think it's probably because, I mean, as you guys know, I'm not remotely tied to the comic book stuff, the comic book movies and stuff like that. I don't know this one from that one. So, and I know that that's like a big part of like where his career was heading. He was doing a lot of those movies and stuff like that. Even though I do know his background being like, he's, Yale Drama School trained and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know. I'm just not interested in this story, or he just doesn't. Yeah, I just don't really care about him. I mean, I know that sounds weird, like
I mean, that's fine.
no, because it's like, but like, why would I like? Who do I care about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're all strangers in Hollywood, But like, yeah, I mean, he just doesn't interest me at all. But I am confused with how Megan Good got in it. I'm like, where did Megan Good come from? Like, I'm still baffled. I'm like, what is this? All of a sudden, Megan Good is with him, like
That is
in
his
every
Coretta Scott
picture,
King.
down to the core, right? Right. Megretta,
Megretta Scott Good.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, where did this come from? Like that, they don't even make sense to me. Um, but yeah, what do I know?
So they say that she's his contract girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
that's what
she's like a Lori Harvey.
the street committee are saying, that that's what's up with that. So
And
I don't know.
that's definitely what is given as far as I'm concerned, because I'm like, how does he end up with like Megan Good out of nowhere? And especially because for all intents and purposes, Megan Good is like, she's like black. Like, and everybody knows what I mean when I say that.
And
And
she's unproblematic.
right.
And so that makes sense.
And actually, and really nice. Like I've met her, like, out at a club one night here. And my old roommate actually she had a TV show on NBC a few years back, and my old roommate at the time had done a guest stint working with her on that show, and he did the same thing. Like, she was just really, really nice, really pleasant on set, stuff like that, and we just hear, I only bring that up because we hear so many terrible stories about celebrities behind the scenes, like, of course, they all put their best feet forward when they're public facing, but then people behind the scenes always have the real scoop on them and stuff like that. So yeah, just with her being like having the reputation she has, and like people say, like, oh yeah, she's one of the black girls who we protect. The black community protects Megan Good, and so she's over here with this guy who's caught up in all this turmoil out of nowhere. And especially when, like, considering that seemingly from what I've seen, the little bit I've seen, most of his entanglements have been with white women. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden he goes and finds this like black woman.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he's
Like,
got to align himself to be
right. Like,
so that in the court of public opinion,
right,
or at least the court of culture opinion, he has to kind of look good in that respect.
Let my people know that they can still support me.
That I'm still with y'all.
Right.
My
But
thing,
yeah,
it's
that's
not,
all I
I'm
got.
still with y'all. It's like, y'all need to be with me. You need to protect me.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So my thing with that, though, is that to me it seemed like you was with this lady, right, Jonathan? Let's say, I don't know the timeline of events, but let's say you were with this girl in January, and now by the time that this all comes to trial, here comes Megan Good. And she's showing up at the court, but it doesn't seem like there was that long amount of time. So let's say by now it's July, and here comes Megan Good. So like 6 months, it just seems like it was really quick for that relationship to be a thing, for him to be going through all of this, and at the same time, she boohooing in the courtroom and stuff like that. That part I just don't really get. That doesn't compute to me.
Jeff, you
And
don't
I get that
understand love.
people, and
You don't understand love.
well, see, let me finish. So I mean, I get people fall into love real quick, and I get people have all of these, emotions, and they have their little honeymoon phases. But that seems like a whole lot of boohooing for some fresh dick.
You are obviously not reading the snark in my comment.
No, he is. He definitely is. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. We don't understand love, and we don't understand that quick kind of I'm infatuated with you, that and I have gotten all I need, and I believe and trust in you. Yes, that's what we don't get.
Now y'all know good and well. If there's one thing gay men know, they know being in love after 2 days.
That's
air quotes love.
Right.
Exactly.
That's not. I mean, gay men aren't lesbians. Now let's not go overboard.
We're riding real close to it, though. We're riding real close to it. We're in a U-Haul truck right behind them.
Right. All right, guys. So let's shift into Katt Williams. So, by now everyone's heard or seen the clips of the excerpts of the Katt Williams Shannon Sharp podcast recording from the club.
Might not be everybody. It might not be
everybody. I have not, because
Yeah.
I cannot with Katt Williams. I cannot. He and Shaq are cousins.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes. But I cannot with him. He is way too much. I mean, I'm happy to laugh because he is like unbelievably silly. But you give me a little background, because I've only heard about this, but I just can't, because it's a hot mess, and so I can't dig in.
So we're going to get into that. So he was on the Shannon Sharp show, Club Shay Shay podcast. That's on, I guess it's on YouTube all the time. I've seen clips of it from other celebrities. And so he started, explaining how things were with him and other actors and comedians that were part of the Friday series, or the Friday After Next specifically. And so he was talking about, how he was this, I guess, prodigy, and read 3,000 nonfiction books in a year, and how Ricky Smiley was contracted to, if he was ever to do a film with Ricky Smiley, Ricky would have had to been in a dress, and in the next show that he was in, then Ricky was playing Bernice Williams and all of that good stuff. And so this had been dragging out for a minute, and so recently, it mentioned that Ludacris was part of the Illuminati, and the only reason that he got his role in the Fast and Furious franchise was because of his Illuminati connection. And Ludacris released a diss track on Katt, basically, denying all of that, and also in the same time, making fun of Katt Williams. And then Katt Williams goes around and he creates a diss track on Ludacris again. So it's kind of like this classic 1980s rap beef going on right now. And I only bring this, I know we've kind of the people, and when I say everyone, I don't mean everyone on this podcast, but it has been, in the media, for social media, for the last couple of weeks now, has just kind of been beat this horse down into the ground with Katt Williams in this Shannon interview. So I just thought it was kind of interesting that this is still going on weeks later, and people are still talking about it, at least to a light degree. But he did say, like I mentioned, some outlandish things. Who's reading 3,000 books in a year? What is he doing?
He is unwell. He is crazy. He might. I mean, he may be a genius, but he is not a stable genius like the other unstable genius. That man is mentally ill. Let's be clear.
Listen, and I could not agree more. I don't know to what capacity, but Katt,
Mm.
the cat ain't fully in the hat. That's all I'm gonna say. But like, I don't care that he's a man of a certain age. If you got accepted to college at 9 years old, your parents got a article somewhere saved about their 9-year-old kid who done got accepted into college. Where's the receipt, Katt? That's all I need to know.
If you got accepted into college at 9 years old, not only that, they're paying for it. You don't have to pay for anything. You're getting a scholarship. Someone is going to give you money
Right.
because that
But
you're not paying out of pocket.
you guys need to understand he was accepted to college at 9 years old, and then he deferred for 9 years. Y'all need to get on board.
He deferred entry for those
He
9 years
deferred, yeah, for those
till he
9
was
years.
18, and then he up and left.
Exactly.
No,
You
but
know,
said he dropped out. What did he say? He dropped out at like 12 and moved to Florida.
yeah, he left at
Like,
13 and got in the back of a truck, him and his Rottweiler puppy, and they went down to Florida. And I forgot how much money he said he had, but yeah,
Yeah.
See,
there was
I
a lot of
told you, crazy,
yeah,
crazy, like that shit is crazy. This is what I'm telling you. He is not well. I love this though. I may have to go back and read this because I
yeah.
saw it
Go
and I was
back.
like, it's Katt Williams.
There's a
I was
whole
like, it's Katt
interview.
Williams. I can't.
Yeah, there's
Oh
a
no,
whole
no,
interview
I heard
you
about
watch.
it. I heard
Oh
about
yeah,
it, but it was like, it's Katt Williams. I can't.
okay.
But it is vintage madness from him. And I mean, this shit is cracking me up. Oh, sorry, I forgot. This is cracking me up because it is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
So you're saying he's got an arterial flow problem above the neck? Is that it?
He's got issues.
Yeah, and there were some things that he talked about that I believe rang true. They had an air of truth to them, absolutely.
oh yeah, definitely.
But then there was a lot of stuff that I was just like, okay, this is real. You're dealing really in hyperbole, sir. Like this really happened. Are you sure? So there's certain things that I wasn't quite sure if I believed, and I was like, no, this doesn't quite sound right. That's like saying somebody went to an accredited 4-year institution and got a degree in cosmetology, and it's like, okay, did you like, and which school was this? Yeah, so it's that kind of thing. Like, unless you have people that are fact checking it or people who are really educated enough to know how certain systems work, you go, okay, oh wow, that's dope. Like I could see plenty of people going, oh man, he got accepted at 9. That man is it. Yeah, and people are, people who went to school are like, I'm not real sure about that.
Not the cat that I know.
You don't have a minor in hair and makeup. And here's what I will tell you.
Yeah.
I do not know of one. I do
Right,
not
yeah.
know of one university that admits people less than 12.
Media personality Funky Dineva left Fox Soul and the TGIF show within the last couple of weeks. And during that process, there was a little bit of alleged drama between him and Claudia and Flame Monroe. Funky cleared up the air and said it was definitely nothing against Flame, but was directly involving Claudia Jordan. And he said that he would leave details to that for the future if he ever gives us the details. So what's interesting to note is that Funky started airing his show live solo by himself at the same time of the YouTube broadcast of the TGIF show on Fox Soul. And immediately he started showing the numbers that he was putting up compared to the show that he left. And he had more viewers. And I looked before we started taping. His show from last night was already at 90,000 views. The show from TGIF last night was less than 50,000. So he's basically doubled, if not more, than what the show that he left. So essentially, this whole dispute, well, part of the dispute rather, was over pay. There was an issue with the contract where Claudia, Funky, and Al were offered to take a less pay per episode, but were recording more episodes, so they were essentially technically making more money, but their time wasn't valued the same way. Funky basically said that he's just going to roll with it for this half of the term of the contract, which was 6 months. I think Al and Claudia signed for a 12-month, and at the time of that expiration, it was time to he forgot about the expiration, and when it was time for him to kind of negotiate, he was like, "Yeah, y'all not coming up with this money. I'm gonna just go on about my business." So this kind of goes with his marketability, so that now he's got the numbers within like 2 weeks. Has it been less than 2 weeks that he's showing that, hey, I've got better viewership than your show that I was on just by myself, just me running it and me interacting with my fans and the people that follow me on YouTube alone. Now, granted, Fox Soul does air on the internet on other platforms, and so those $50,000 viewers that he's got, or that Fox Soul gets on TGIF from YouTube, aren't the totality, but I don't think there's 50,000 people on those other platforms that are watching. So I think, Funky's getting whatever money that he's getting from those YouTube ads, all going to him. And he's, as far as I know, he's the only person in the room. So he may have someone doing some light production, but if it's one or two people, he's still getting the lion's share of that money. So, that's not bad. So he's able to control and command that. I'm hoping that once this is kind of the dust settles from the outside, that people will see, hey, this man's valuable and he can contribute. We should put him on something else, or he'll be able to just spin this on YouTube. I mean, there's other YouTubers that's their full-time job. All they do is whatever it is it's talking about old video games, or I'm doing home improvement, or I'm baking cookies. There are people that's their only job is to make content on YouTube, and they get the little YouTube plaques and things like that, and they good. So of course, they have to pay tax and stuff on that money, but they don't have to answer to anybody except for YouTube censors. So I think that's not a bad gig to have. I'm sure the four of us would love that to happen if possible, but we're just not at that stage yet. But guys, what do you think? I know, Brandon, you're a fan of Funky.
Yes. That is my brother from another, my spirit animal. I think that, or as Darius used to say, my wife, your wife, Funky Dineva. I think I get that people are a little confused because they had such a good thing going with the show TGIF. And then when Funky came out and actually put the number out there saying that he walked away
$250,000
from 250K a year, a position to work an hour a day, hour and a half with a little bit of research about the topics,
basically what we're doing.
right. And I think that the amount of time put in made everybody say, well, why not just do both? If you're getting 250K to do that for just a few hours, you can still do your own stuff at the same time. But I think having followed Funky for so long, Funky's thing, he's very adamant about that. Like, he does not like corporate structure. He does not like to be tied down. Funky's all about living life until he dropped dead. You know what I mean? Till he dropped dead in the street or down to the bar where the Honda cars be. Like, he does not like having to be on a strict schedule. Like, he likes to just like come and go as he pleases. And he's built up enough of a following to literally be able to do that. Like, Funky stuff is completely stripped down. He has like a theme song, and other than that, he just sits down and just talks. Funky can lay down in the bed, record a video, and they'll have 40,000 views in 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, less than 2 hours. Once people see that he posts a new video. And so he has that built in. And I think that a big thing for him was, with going over to Fox Soul, was the goal of the show going to network. Like, and that's where they saw the show going. And I think that it just did not progress. as fast as they had expected it to, because Fox Soul had a bunch of different shows on, and then eventually became like a couple little fillers, local affiliate shows from the Fox Houston like nucleus station, and which were like cheap shows that are already going on. And then they got rid of everything else and gave the whole damn budget to the TGIF, and so then they all of a sudden they were on for 5 nights a week. And I think that as they kept steamrolling ahead, the expectation was that, okay, somebody's going to pick us up and we're going to get into the studio and we're going to be on a network television show, and I think that as that kind of stalled out or didn't happen fast enough, Funky was just like, well, damn, like I don't have to be censored on my own channel outside of YouTube rules. So if I go back and just put all the time into me dropping stuff on my own channel, I can completely make way more money with way less stipulations. I mean, and it makes sense on paper. But even myself, like a part of me still feels like I think that both things could have been done at the same time. But also knowing Funky, he's like, why? Like, why bother being over there if we're not gonna move to a next step? Why go over there and do what I can already do over here in my own house for me? Why go over there and do it for their house?
Yeah, I mean, unless there was probably, I mean, I doubt that there was like a non-complete compete clause with his contract. So he probably
there
could have
wasn't,
done,
because like he would record videos on the same topics they would talk about on the show.
So, I mean, you're right. He definitely could have done both things. But I think, one thing too with that is that there's the time, there's the time that you're taking out to do that extra. And I get it. I mean, $250,000 a year is so far out of my radar. I can't answer this question, or I can't say what I would do if I was put in that position. I would definitely think that if I'm making that, I would have to do a whole lot of soul searching before I could say that, yeah, I'm not going to do this anymore. $250,000 is a lot of money. So that would, even though, I make more than the average now, that would be life-changing for me if I was to make that money. So not for nothing.
For a 10-hour work week,
Yeah,
10-hour max.
You've got the rest of your time to yourself to do whatever. You could literally not do anything else but that. But with that much free time, why wouldn't you? But that would still be time that would be taken away. So I don't know what those YouTube checks are looking at, or what Instagram, numbers he's getting, because I think he's probably, could be monetized over there for his post as well. But this internet money isn't no joke either if you can market it right. You just have to put out content and be consistent, and with the quality of it, and you're good. But like you said, he's stripped down. He can record with an iPhone or iPod as long as he's got internet, and the draw is going to be him and his personality and his takes on things and his views. So
right, and that's really what it boils down to. Like Funky does not need production. Like he barely edits stuff. Like he'll edit stuff out for like to fix something, but Funky just puts on the camera and just goes to running his mouth. Like and people show up, he brings them to the yard.
And if you're doing it live off the cuff, that's one thing. Like we're recorded, we go through a filtering process and an editing process here on this show, but we're not live. And so if you can spin that live and stay on subject within an hour a time, that's pretty good. And he's doing this nightly, so he's got to constantly
keep swearing, and you have to edit it.
Yeah. So we're editing it this season. Where we're trying to be clean this season, but last season we were just like, we did not care. So we're editing out the bad words. So, but yeah,
I didn't know that.
They are not bad words. They're just words that you choose to edit.
Adult language.
We're taking
the way it's the way that I speak. I'm trying to moderate.
I mean, I'll drop an F-bomb in here myself a couple of times, but yeah.
God knows I will.
So Darius, I know you're also a Funky fan.
I am.
Really quickly before you go, Darius, I just wanted to add one more.
Okay,
thing.
Yeah.
Just because Jeff had brought up, he was saying like he does, like we don't know for verbatim how much these YouTube checks are and everything like that. But I remember Funky saying how like his YouTube checks were typically like when he would drop like a few videos um throughout the month. Not even when he was being as consistent, like when he was reviewing everybody, all the reality shows and doing all that stuff, and then doing his own takes on social media content. Um, but he was saying how like even when he would just pop in and drop like maybe a few videos throughout the month, that he was still getting Google checks for about 20K throughout the month. So it wouldn't make sense that if he actually put in the time, that even just the time that he put in at Fox Soul, those 10 hours a week, if he put in 10 hours a week on his own channel, like he's been saying, he literally could triple, quadruple what he's making over there at Fox Soul, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what everybody said about, doing it for yourself if you have the opportunity to, and you can make equal or more money. I'd love to know how much the YouTube checks really kind of are. Like Brandon, you brought up the 20K. So even if it's at 20K a month times 12 months, that's still 10,000 less than what he was kind of making at Fox Soul. But it could be more than that. We may never know that. So that's cool. But I am a Funky follower, part of the Funky bunch. I love his commentary because he did bring a lot of like comic relief to TGIF, but it was comic relief that definitely was very smart, and it was thought through. And so to be honest with you, I haven't really watched the show a lot. I haven't watched TGIF since he left, because he was one of the draws for me. He was one of the guys that I was like, okay, I got to see what he's getting ready to say about that. It was almost akin to Wendy Williams. Like Wendy Williams, I would watch Wendy Williams just to see what she was going to say about a specific topic. And I didn't necessarily care about the interviews per se. I just kind of watched for hot topics and just to see what she was going to say. So it was that kind of thing. So if I knew that they were talking about some stuff that I had read about or had heard about or wanted to get another perspective on, I was like, let me watch this and see what's going on here. And so there was a lot of things that I didn't know anything about that I learned through TGIF as well. So I don't I don't really know, like I'm kind of conflicted in the idea of how, he put a video out initially saying that, I'm leaving Fox Soul, it's because of pay, et cetera, et cetera. Everything is amicable, all of those things. So it was like, okay,
Right.
you felt bad. But then it was, okay, yeah, I get it. You got to do what's best for you. And then it shifted to this sort of tirade a little bit about, what was going on. And there was a lot more anger behind it. And there were people who initially were saying, nah, I don't think it's the money. I don't think it's the money. I think it's something else. I think it's something else. And then to take that week after he made that announcement and actually purposefully go on live at the same time that TGIF is on, and then he's on his channel talking about the fact that he's doing it on his own, after a while it starts to get a little, I don't know what the word is, but
It was
I'm not gonna say
intentionally
it's,
shady.
yeah, well, yeah, that, but it was like, okay, like I'm not sure I like this. Now, if you're gonna be on your channel just doing your own thing, that's cool. Like, don't worry about everybody else. Like, you can't be upset about how they're pulling the strings when you purposely or intentionally cut the strings from them. Like you can't do, you shouldn't do that. So my thing was, hey, do your content, Funky. I'm still going to watch your stuff, but do your content and focus on you. If that's what this is ultimately about. It was about, I'm focusing on me, I'm gonna do me. Do you then, and don't worry so much about what's going on over there. So I did try to watch an episode earlier. I didn't kind of get all the way through it because we were getting ready to record, but again, I enjoy him. I enjoy his commentary. I enjoy the way he thinks about things. I agree with a lot of what he says. And, I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with TGIF, not necessarily with the drama between him and alleged drama between him and Claudia Jordan, that I don't really care about because she's done some interviews. The other thing I will say is that he's talked about interviews that other people have done and things that other people have said on his when he's recording his own content. And some of it, I believe, are things that he personally has not seen, but he's heard somebody else tell him, and he's just speaking on it based on what somebody else has told him. Because there were a couple of instances where he was talking about something on one of his lives, and I said, he was talking about, I guess, something that Claudia said, and I was like, she didn't really say that. Like, she didn't say that at all. Like, I think it was kind of misinterpreted, unless, again, there's something underlying that we don't know about. But I don't want to be involved in all the drama. I'm just like, listen, I just want to come in and be entertained. I want to watch commentary. I want to watch smart commentary. I want to hear what other people have to say about certain things, and let's just kind of keep it moving. You get your bag over here. We're gonna get ours over there. If our paths cross, they cross. If they don't, they don't.
Right. No, you're absolutely right with that part. And the other thing I wanted to say is just to piggyback on you talking about the commentary being intelligent, and I think that that's a part of I mean, obviously being a big part of Q's appeal, but I feel like that's kind of the thing that kind of like gut punches people, because people see him at face value as the people, like when they first see his old back in the day, they see the Funky Dineva, not realizing that there's an actual intelligent person playing a character of Funky Dineva. And I think that people don't get that. And especially now you see that they're like bringing in the guest hosts and stuff like that. And people are just throwing out all these names of any gay comment creator that they know from YouTube. And it's just like, these people don't realize that like Funky Dineva isn't just sitting up being shady and being like some snarky gay stereotype. Like Funky Dineva has a like comedic timing. Like he's witty, he's intelligent, so he knows how to intelligently shade, you know what I mean, and not just like hit below the belt at people, like, you know what I mean. And I think that that's lost on a lot of people. A lot of people don't really give him his flowers the way that they necessarily should. They know that they find him entertaining or whatever, but they don't really get what he brings to the table.
Yeah,
I think
because a lot of people are looking to be entertained. Like, they're not looking for the entertainment within the education. And so he does a lot of things, and he has a lot of isms, and he has a lot of sayings and things like that people, quotables, so he has a lot of those things, but he's quoting those things, and he's quoting those things in such a way that it's like, okay, let me bring this comedy to you, but I'm bringing this comedy to you and it's wrapped, like this education is wrapped in this comedy. And that's one thing that I've always enjoyed about him, especially because I really got into him more so when I was in Florida, and I started kind of, we were home for the pandemic and all of that stuff, and I really started kind of paying attention to some of the stuff he did, because a lot of what he did in his early days was like reviewing, the Housewives, all the shows I don't watch, the stuff I don't watch. And so I wasn't really paying attention to it, because I was like, well, I don't really know this show like that. I know of the show, but I'm not, really watching his commentary on that. But when he started focusing on current events, and he started focusing on like politics, I remember some of the early videos that I remember watching of him were about the Andrew Gillum scandal and all of that, because I was in Florida, and and honestly, he probably lived about a half an hour to 45 minutes from me when I lived in Florida. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like I see where he's coming from, and he's wrapping this in some comedy. But again, I definitely wish him well. I hope that he is. I've met him too at those same couple of events that I've met T.S. Madison at. So it's like I definitely wish him well, and I hope that all of the drama behind all of this kind of blows over really quickly, so that we can get back to this good content. Whatever the content is going to be.
I agree. That's a big thing for me. I don't want them to wallow in the mud and keep this going when it just doesn't have to be. Like it's already damn near dead. You know what I mean? Like, just keep it dead.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed you don't want to hear my ignorance on the subject. I will just say this: I do know who Funky Dineva is.
I swear, I was wondering. I
don't know anything about TGIF or Pop Soul, but I'm disappointed you don't want to hear how ignorant I am on the subject. But so go ahead. You can move on.
you know how to jump in when you want to jump in. So you
Yeah,
had
I
jumped
did.
in.
I don't know shit about this. So it's like
So
I just
it's
want to
okay.
like pull your guys' chain.
It's okay. All right, cool. All right, well, I guess that's going to wrap us up for tonight. So thanks again, everyone, for another fun episode. And thank you, listeners, for listening to us here, Babylon about current events. Peace.
Peace out. Peace.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Ciao. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, share, and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Just Draws or at the @ Just Draws. Until next time, as you interact within your various communities, remember to be like Draws and don't be afraid to offer a little bit of support. Peace.